Oprah secretly helps a struggling college student. Years later, he appears on her show with a big surprise. The fluorescent lights of the campus library buzzed faintly as Marcus sat hunched over a cluttered table, his textbooks stacked precariously beside him. It was nearly midnight, but he wasn't ready to leave. Not yet. The weight of his responsibilities pressed heavily on his shoulders, and he knew that every extra hour spent studying brought him one step closer to achieving his dream. Marcus was a junior at Howard University, majoring in business administration with aspirations of becoming an entrepreneur. But his journey to college had been anything but easy. Raised by a single mother in Chicago's South Side, he had grown up surrounded by challenges, violence, poverty, and systemic inequities that often felt insurmountable. Still, Marcus refused to let his circumstances define him. He worked tirelessly throughout high school, earning scholarships and accolades that secured him a spot at Howard. Yet even with financial aid, the cost of tuition, books, and living expenses loomed large. To make ends meet, he juggled multiple jobs, as a barista, a tutor, and a late-night janitor, while maintaining a rigorous academic schedule. Tonight, however, fatigue was winning. His eyelids drooped as he scribbled notes for an economics paper, his energy sapped from another grueling day. Just as he considered packing up, a soft voice interrupted his thoughts. "Excuse me, are you okay?" Startled, Marcus looked up to see a woman standing beside him. She wore a tailored coat and carried a leather briefcase, her presence exuding warmth and professionalism. Her smile was kind, though her eyes betrayed concern. "I'm fine," Marcus replied quickly, brushing off her question. "Just trying to finish some work." The woman nodded, glancing at the stack of papers and empty coffee cups littering the table. "It looks like you've been here a while," she observed gently. "Mind if I sit for a moment?" Before Marcus could respond, she pulled out the chair across from him and settled in. "My name is Oprah," she introduced herself, extending her hand. Recognition dawned slowly. Oprah Winfrey, the media mogul, philanthropist, and icon, was sitting across from him. For a moment, Marcus wondered if he was dreaming. Hi," he stammered, shaking her hand awkwardly. "I'm Marcus." Oprah smiled, clearly amused by his reaction. "You seem surprised to see me," she teased lightly. "Well, yeah," Marcus admitted, laughing nervously. You're someone who works incredibly hard," Oprah replied, gesturing to his books and laptop. "What are you studying?" "Business administration," Marcus answered, straightening slightly. "I want to start my own company someday, a non-profit focused on helping underserved communities access education and resources." Oprah's eyes lit up with interest. "That's a noble goal," she said earnestly. "Tell me more about your vision." For the next hour, Marcus poured out his dreams and struggles, the sacrifices his mother had made, the long hours he worked to afford tuition, and the fear that no matter how hard he tried, success might remain out of reach. "I just want to prove that where you come from doesn't have to determine where you end up," he concluded, his voice tinged with determination. Oprah listened intently, nodding thoughtfully. When he finished, she leaned forward, her expression serious yet compassionate. "Marcus," she began, "your story inspires me, and I believe in what you're trying to achieve. So let me ask you something. What's holding you back right now?" Marcus hesitated, unsure how to respond. Finally, he confessed, "Money. Even with scholarships and working full-time, I'm barely keeping up. Sometimes I worry I won't be able to finish school." Oprah studied him carefully, her gaze steady and reassuring. "Let me help you," she said simply. Marcus blinked, certain he'd misheard her. "What do you mean?" he asked cautiously. "I mean exactly that," Oprah replied, her tone unwavering. "Consider it an investment in your education, your future, and the countless lives you'll impact once you succeed." Before Marcus could protest, she handed him a business card. "When you're ready, call this number. We'll figure everything out together." As Oprah stood to leave, Marcus stared at the card in disbelief, his mind racing with questions. Was this real? Could someone like Oprah genuinely care about someone like him? But as he watched her walk away, her silhouette disappearing into the quiet halls of the library, Marcus realized one thing for certain: his life was about to change forever. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button. Stories like this remind us of the power of kindness and opportunity. Let us know in the comments, what would you do if Oprah walked into your life like this? The next morning, Oprah sat in her Manhattan penthouse, sipping coffee as she reviewed notes from the previous evening. Her encounter with Marcus lingered in her mind, not just because of his humility, but because of the passion he had shown when talking about his dream. Intrigued, she decided to learn more about him. Through discreet inquiries with Howard University's administration, she discovered that Marcus was indeed struggling financially. Despite his scholarships, he worked nearly 40 hours a week across 3 jobs, leaving little time for rest or self-care. His grades, while strong, showed signs of strain from his overwhelming schedule. But what struck Oprah most was the reason behind his relentless drive. Marcus grew up in a low-income neighborhood in Chicago, raised by a single mother who worked tirelessly as a home health aide. Education had always been central to their lives, not just as a means of survival, but as a way to break cycles of poverty and create opportunities for future generations. She taught me that knowledge is freedom, Marcus had once told a professor during an office hours meeting, and I want to use that freedom to help others. Oprah felt a deep connection to his story. Like Marcus, she too had grown up in humble circumstances, relying on her grandmother's wisdom and resilience to navigate life's challenges. It was this shared foundation of hardship and hope that fueled her desire to help him succeed. Determined to understand Marcus's journey firsthand, Oprah arranged a private meeting with him later that week. She invited him to her studio, a space that to many symbolized dreams realized and lives transformed. When Marcus arrived, he looked nervous, clutching the business card she had given him like a lifeline. "I wasn't sure if you'd really call," he admitted sheepishly as they shook hands. "Of course I called," Oprah replied with a warm smile. "You intrigued me, Marcus. Your dream is powerful, and I believe it deserves support." Over the next hour, she listened intently as Marcus opened up about his life. He spoke candidly about the sacrifices his mother had made, the financial struggles they faced, and the constant fear of failure that weighed heavily on his shoulders. "But every time I feel like giving up," he confessed, "I remember why I started. My mom always said, education is the key to unlocking doors that seem impossible to open. That's what keeps me going." Oprah nodded, her heart swelling with admiration. "You have grit, Marcus," she said firmly. "And grit is the foundation of greatness. But let's talk about how we can turn your dream into reality." With that, she unveiled her plan, a mentorship program designed specifically for students from underserved communities. The initiative would provide participants with access to top-tier educational resources, seed funding for their ventures, and ongoing guidance from industry leaders, including herself. "And you'll be our first participant," Oprah announced, her voice filled with conviction. Marcus froze, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what she was offering. I don't know what to say," he stammered, tears welling in his eyes. "Say yes," Oprah urged gently. "This isn't charity, Marcus. It's an investment in you, in your vision, and in the countless lives you'll touch through your work." After a moment of silence, Marcus nodded, his expression resolute. "Yes," he whispered. "Thank you." Over the following weeks, Oprah threw herself into the project, leveraging her network to build a robust support system for Marcus. Renowned entrepreneurs agreed to mentor him, investors pledged funding for his future nonprofit, and media outlets clamored to cover the story. But the journey wasn't without its challenges. As Marcus began attending advanced workshops and seminars, he quickly realized how much he still had to learn. Concepts that seemed simple on paper proved difficult to master in practice, and self-doubt crept in as he compared himself to classmates with years of formal training. One evening, after a particularly grueling session, he called Oprah, his voice heavy with frustration. "I don't know if I'm cut out for this," he admitted. "Everyone else is so far ahead of me." Oprah listened patiently, her tone unwaveringly supportive. "Marcus, success isn't about being the best right away. It's about perseverance. Every expert was once a beginner. Trust the process and trust yourself." Her words resonated deeply, reigniting his determination. Slowly but surely, Marcus began to improve. His hard work paid off during a high-stakes entrepreneurship pitch competition hosted by one of his mentors, where he earned second place despite fierce competition. "See," Oprah said proudly when he shared the news, "you're already proving what's possible. If this story inspires you, take a moment to follow this channel. YouTube recommends more content based on your interests, so liking and subscribing ensures you never miss uplifting stories like this one. Plus, leave a comment below. How do you think Marcus will use this opportunity to change the world? Your thoughts matter to us." Years passed, and Marcus transformed from a struggling college student into a thriving entrepreneur. With Oprah's mentorship, he graduated at the top of his class and launched his non-profit, Pathways to Progress, which provided scholarships, mentorship programs, and career resources to underserved youth. The organization quickly gained traction, earning national recognition for its innovative approach to breaking cycles of poverty through education and entrepreneurship. Marcus traveled across the country, sharing his story at conferences and inspiring others to believe in their potential. But despite his success, Marcus never forgot the woman who had changed his life. Every milestone he achieved felt incomplete without thanking her properly. One evening, while attending a gala celebrating social impact leaders, Marcus received an unexpected email. It was from Oprah's team, inviting him to appear on her iconic talk show. The subject line read, "Oprah wants to thank you." Marcus stared at the screen, his heart racing. He had spent years dreaming of this moment, of standing face to face with Oprah once again, but he hadn't expected it to happen like this. When the day of the taping arrived, Marcus walked onto the stage to thunderous applause. As he took his seat across from Oprah, tears welled in his eyes. "I can't believe I'm here," he admitted, his voice trembling with emotion. "You've done so much for me. I don't know how to repay you." Oprah smiled warmly, reaching out to pat his hand. "You already have," she replied. "Look at everything you've accomplished. You're changing lives every single day." As they discussed Marcus's journey, from his late-night study sessions at Howard to the launch of Pathways to Progress, the audience listened intently, many wiping away tears. But just as the conversation seemed to reach its peak, Marcus leaned forward, his expression serious. "Oprah, there's something I need to say," he began, his voice steady but filled with gratitude. "You didn't just help me, you gave me a purpose, and today I want to give back what you gave me." With that, he gestured toward the wings of the stage. A group of teenagers filed in, each wearing matching jackets emblazoned with the logo of Pathways to Progress. Among them was Jasmine, a young woman whose family had benefited from Marcus's non-profit. "These are some of the students we've supported," Marcus explained, his voice thick with pride. "And thanks to your example, I've been able to pay your kindness forward, to create opportunities for others who might not have had them otherwise." The audience erupted into applause as Oprah wiped away tears, visibly moved by the gesture. "This is why I do what I do," she said softly, turning to address the crowd. "Kindness ripples outward in ways we can't always predict. And Marcus, you're living proof of that." To everyone's surprise, Marcus wasn't finished yet. "Before we wrap up," he continued, pulling out a small envelope, "I have one more gift for you." He handed the envelope to Oprah, who opened it cautiously. Inside was a check for $1 million made out to her foundation. "What is this?" Oprah asked, her voice catching with emotion. "It's my way of saying thank you," Marcus replied earnestly. "Because of you, I've been able to build a life I never thought possible. Now I want to help you continue your work, the work that inspires millions around the world." For the first time in years, Oprah was speechless. She hugged Marcus tightly, her eyes glistening with tears. "You've given me the greatest gift of all," she whispered. "Hope, this story is far from over. What happens next is up to you." If you enjoyed this heartwarming moment between Marcus and Oprah, drop a comment below. What did you think of Marcus's big surprise? Would you ever imagine repaying kindness in such a powerful way? Don't forget to share this video with someone who needs a dose of inspiration today. It might just change their perspective. The impact of Marcus's appearance on Oprah's show rippled far beyond the studio audience. Clips from the episode went viral, amassing millions of views within hours. Viewers were captivated not only by Marcus's journey, but also by the profound reciprocity of kindness he demonstrated by donating $1 million to Oprah's foundation. Social media buzzed with admiration for both Marcus and Oprah, as people shared how the story had inspired them to pay kindness forward in their own lives. Hashtags like kindness ripples and pay it forward trended globally, sparking conversations about the power of generosity and mentorship. For Marcus, the exposure brought new opportunities and challenges. Donations poured into Pathways to Progress, enabling him to expand its reach to even more underserved communities. Schools across the country invited him to speak, eager to share his message of resilience and hope with students facing similar struggles. But Marcus remained grounded, guided by the lessons Oprah had instilled in him. "This isn't about me," he often reminded himself. "It's about what we can do together." One afternoon, while visiting a high school in Detroit, one of the cities where Pathways to Progress had recently launched a program, Marcus met a shy freshman named Jamal. The boy lingered near the back of the auditorium after Marcus's presentation, clutching a notebook tightly to his chest. "Can I help you?" Marcus asked warmly, approaching him. Jamal hesitated before speaking. "I just wanted to say, your story makes me believe I can do something too, even if it feels impossible." Marcus smiled, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder. "That's exactly why I'm here," he replied, "to remind you that no dream is too big and no obstacle is too great if you have the courage to keep going." Jamal nodded, his eyes shining with determination. In the years that followed, Marcus continued to grow Pathways to Progress, ensuring it remained a beacon of opportunity for countless young people. Many of the students he mentored went on to achieve remarkable success, crediting Marcus and, indirectly, Oprah for believing in them when no one else did. Meanwhile, Oprah kept a close eye on Marcus's progress, cheering him on from afar. She often reflected on their first meeting in the library, marveling at how a seemingly chance encounter had sparked such a transformative chain of events. "It's proof that kindness always comes back around," she told her team during a brainstorming session for future projects. "When you invest in someone's potential, you're investing in the world's future." Years later, Marcus returned to the same Howard University library where his journey had begun. Now a celebrated alumnus, he delivered a keynote speech to a packed auditorium of students. "When I sat here all those years ago," he began, his voice steady yet filled with emotion, "I never imagined I'd be standing here today. But I learned something important, that success isn't measured by wealth or fame. It's measured by the lives you touch along the way." He paused, scanning the sea of hopeful faces before him. "So my challenge to you is this: find your purpose, chase your dreams, and never forget the power of paying it forward. Because when you lift others up, you rise higher than you ever thought possible." The audience erupted into applause, tears streaming down many faces, including Marcus's. As he stepped off the stage, he received a text message from an unknown number. Opening it, he read, "Proud of you, Marcus. Keep shining your light, Oprah." Marcus smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. This was what it was all about. Not fame or fortune, but the ability to make a difference. And as Oprah often reminded him, the greatest gift wasn't the success itself, it was the chance to pass it forward. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to hit the subscribe button and join our community of dreamers and doers. Stories like Marcus's remind us that kindness and determination can change the world, one life at a time. What's your biggest takeaway from this video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear how this story inspired you. Together, let's keep spreading hope and positivity.